Oh, welcome to the show, Matt. I thought you were gonna have like a really cool opening frame where you were like entering in.
Because I went to go get a drink and then you hit play and I was like, oh, I should probably be here when everything starts. Drink. And I'm gonna grab it right because it's all of 5
get a drink. What's up, everyone? Happy Friday to you all. Let's see who we got here. Annibal's here. Mike. We've got. Who's here? There's so many people. MK Songbird, Steven's here, Vanya's here, Hoshi's here. There's a whole bunch of you. We have a lot to get to tonight also. So we're obviously going to cover our title topic, but we didn't even talk about this before. But Matt, if you have feelings otherwise, let me know. I feel like with all the CinemaCon stuff, like you guys drop in the chat what you want us to talk about, and we'll prioritize what we get the most live chat comments about. Because there is so much stuff, and I know we're not going to get to all of it in an hour-long stream.
Yeah, I was going to say the CinemaCon stuff is going crazy because, like, I'm looking at the chat already, and there's like the Nun too. Like, I weirdly have opinions on most of the things, so like I'm fine to talk about whatever. But we can start with the title if you want to, and maybe because we had a different title topic.
Yeah. So before, all right, like I guess we're starting with the title in a way. Before we get to the title. So I feel like we need to address what a spoiler is, and I understand that it's a tricky subject sometimes. But before the Jon Watts news broke, this episode of Merri Hour was titled something that pertains to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, specifically certain characters who were revealed in the latest footage. For anyone out there who subscribes to this channel and watches these videos, I thought it would be helpful to know what my rules are with spoilers, because I don't ever want to spoil a movie for someone and ruin something. And I will do everything in my power not to. But I also know there's a lot of people out there who do deliberately avoid trailers and things like that. If that is the case, maybe the YouTube sphere is a zone that you should be very careful around, and maybe you should turn notifications off around the time a new big movie like that is coming out, because the way that I have to draw the line for myself personally, and I adhere to this when I'm scrolling Twitter or YouTube or whatever. If something is revealed in a promotional item for a film, it says to me that the studio releasing the movie doesn't deem it a spoiler and it's fair game to talk about. And I feel like if I go any further than that, you wind up with conversations that can't really say anything at all and can't really give any insight. And also there are 1,000,001 headlines out there focusing on the thing that the original headline for this video was. So for anyone who is really upset about it, I'm really sorry. It was not intentional, but also that is where I draw the line with spoilers. So technically in my book, what we had originally was fair game.
Yeah, I mean, it's what we were talking about before in the sense that, like, is it a spoiler? I mean, I guess technically in a way, but like once it becomes picked up by the news cycle, like it's hard to avoid it. As a Walking Dead fan, when it first came out, I was part of this very much like trying to watch Walking Dead every night on Sunday, but those nights that maybe I was traveling somewhere and I couldn't watch it or something of that nature, I knew that people were going to talk about it immediately online. I knew that it was going to be out there or whatever. Like if I wanted to avoid spoilers, like I had to go to tremendous lengths to do so. And like, I just wouldn't go on Twitter then. I wouldn't do that thing. And, the comparison again that I used, like, with you, Perri, it was kind of like if I hadn't seen a single Jurassic World, the new one trailer, and I wanted to go in completely blank, that is my choice. Obviously respected. Like, obviously you have to do what you can in that. And like today's world makes it very hard to do that. But if you came to me and were like, oh my God, like, there's a baby blue now in it, I'd be like, oh man, like for me, technically, yeah, that's a spoiler. So I understand where you're coming from. But in the same sense, like it's our jobs as film journalists to kind of keep up with what's breaking and what's going on. So like once it's promo material, we're not talking about leaked footage. We're not talking about the scenario where someone goes to a screening and completely reveals what maybe an Eternals post-credit scene is. Like that's no, that's bullshit. Don't do that, obviously. But like if something is in a trailer, it is now out there. And unfortunately, it is our jobs to report on said thing. So like is it a spoiler in some ways? If you are going in blind, yes, it is, but we have to. Like, we're going to. So like, if you don't want to see that stuff that's promo material, I'm sorry, but like, that is on you a little bit.
All right. Well,
right, exactly. Marketing material, not spoiler.
Yeah, exactly. That's the rule that I adhere to, and clearly, Matt, you do too. So that means the Merri Hour does in general. So that's what
also,
you're.
It was on the poster, as
Yeah,
Amelia said, it's in the trailers and stuff. It was also on the poster. Someone just
Yeah.
put in the chat.
I mean, to be fair, there weren't very many angry comments that I caught here, but my God, the poor Collider Extras YouTube channel is just like flooded with very angry people who were not thrilled that we put it in the title of the video, but it's everywhere.
Angry people on
It's
the internet? What
everywhere.
are you talking about?
Disney put it out there. They want us to know about it. They want us to talk about it pre-release to build hype for the movie. All right. Let's talk about something else Marvel related. So, this news just broke like maybe a half hour before we were set to go live, and I'm reading from the Deadline article because this is where I saw it first. Spider-Man director Jon Watts exits Marvel's Fantastic Four. So, of course, you guys know Jon Watts. He directed the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, and the way that Deadline describes this situation is they specifically wrote he needs a breather, which is very understandable. The guy just directed, like, not only did he direct 3 gigantic Spider-Man movies, but the last one in particular was like one of the biggest, most high pressure scenarios that I could possibly imagine. But the article goes on to say both Watts and Marvel confirmed his exit and said that it is amicable. Kevin Feige has a quote here, I believe. Collaborating with Jon on the Spider-Man films has been a true pleasure. We were looking forward to continuing our work with him to bring the Fantastic Four into the MCU, but understand and are supportive of his reasons for stepping away. We are optimistic that we will have the opportunity to work together again at some point down the road. And then Watts said, making 3 Spider-Man films was an incredible and life-changing experience for me. I'm eternally grateful to have been a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe for 7 years. I'm hopeful we'll work together again, and I can't wait to see the amazing vision for Fantastic Four brought to life. So, I hate phrasing it this way, but it's like every time we see one of these articles and then they throw in terminology like creative differences, we're all sitting here ready to call BS. I mean, do you think that this reasoning is earnest, and do you believe that he's going to come back and direct another MCU movie down the line?
I mean, we're talking about somebody who made movies like Cop Car and Clown. Like, this isn't a blockbuster director doing more blockbusters. This is an indie director in Jon Watts who got into blockbusters and absolutely, again, did a great job with the Spider-Man movies. But in the same sense, I very much can understand his stepping away after doing 3 in a row, 3 Marvel movies that are very much studio projects. Like, you heard the Sam Raimi quotes, and I actually don't think there's anything wrong with what Sam Raimi said. Like, he said it pretty eloquently. Like, I made a Sam Raimi movie, but in the Marvel movie universe, like, of course I have to adhere to studio standards. MCU is what it is. And like, I didn't think those comments were weird at all. Like, that's every director's been doing that. Like, Taika made a Taika movie, but it's still a Marvel movie. Like, no matter what, it's still going to be a Marvel movie. So I very much could understand someone like Jon Watts, again, like movies that he's made in the past. Maybe he wants to go do his smaller films again for a little bit and have that creative freedom that he didn't really, did he have creative freedom? I'm sure he did on these films, but you're never going to have the kind of creative freedom in a Marvel Cinematic Universe that you are on your own indie terms.
Yeah, I fully believe the scenario is playing out as they say it. It is again an incredible undertaking to direct movies like that, and it's also like, it's not even just the directing of the movie itself. You're basically like giving almost the entirety of your life over to that film franchise, right. And the pressure of getting out there and promoting it and keeping things like, can you imagine how much of his life over the however many years he's been working on this stuff had to be top secret all the time, where I don't know, like you can't talk about the art you're making. I have to imagine that weighs heavily on someone. And if he needs the time to step away from that type of filmmaking and make something that feels more right right for him right now, I applaud him all day long. But I did see someone ask in the comments, so here it is, it's not Rick Zamora. So Fantastic Four is happening. There's nothing in any of these reports to indicate that because Jon Watts exited, they're going to scrap plans for that movie. In fact, I'd like to imagine that whatever grand plan Feige and co have come up with at this point, that movie and what's going to happen in it is going to be integral to the overall MCU. So I'm betting it's going to happen, and I wouldn't be surprised if sooner rather than later we hear about a replacement.
Yeah, it's the same thing again. Like Scott Derrickson walking away. It's Scott Derrickson didn't get to make the movie he wanted as a very horror-forward filmmaker, and we don't know if that's exactly why. But again, throwing around creative differences, you have to assume it's probably because he wanted to get a little weirder than Marvel was going to allow. So like you do have to play within those studio boundaries. You do have to kind of do what Marvel says at the end of the day. For someone to do that 3 times in a row and have that be such a big part of their life and then want to take a break from that, you've made your Marvel money. You've done what you wanted to do. And I very much think there's no bad blood. I think he might come back later. The studio obviously loves him. He's probably got great faith going on because of what he did with Spider-Man. So it's like, go ahead, go make your Clown 2 about a possessed clown eating children and stuff like that, and then come back.
I'd watch Clown 2.
But like it also leads into like Justin Lin too.
I was just going to bring that up.
Sorry, like Past X.
I have the article handy. This one was a Deadline exclusive, and it says the first line is, with filming underway on Fast X, Fast 10, whatever the fuck we're calling it. Deadline has learned that Justin Lin is stepping down as director of the next installment, the Fast and Furious franchise, just days into production. Now, that's an issue to me. What did they say? Creative difference? It says, while the parting was amicable between both parties, insiders say that Lin ultimately decided to step away from the franchise due to creative differences. I'm not saying that I don't believe that there's no creative differences. I do think, I think there are. I just think that the way that those creative differences are being addressed might not be ideal for a creative collaborator. So this is a little bit of an extreme situation here.
Yeah. And it did say that he stayed on as producer. So like he is still staying on the project as an advising producer, and he is still going to have his name on there. So it's not like he's like, I'm done with Fast and Furious, I'm out of here completely. He still wants to be part of the family in that way. But somebody made a joke, just like Vin Diesel posted a picture a few days prior of like, maybe even a video.
Did you watch the video?
Yeah. Someone said like he looks like he's being held captive. Like literally, it just looks like he doesn't want to be there.
Who freaking knows what was going on? Like maybe it was a bad moment. Like maybe it was just like a really bad moment to whip out your phone and take a selfie style video with someone. So I don't want to, like add any like flames to the rumor mill fire or anything like that. But like, man, he looked unhappy. He looked so unhappy.
You talk about it being a studio project though. And like in this case, the studio is kind of Vin Diesel. So it's like, you have to bend to Vin Diesel in the Fast franchise. That's what it's his vision ultimately coming through in certain ways. So like, yeah, I could see anyone kind of getting enough of that and being like, all right, I don't know. I have to imagine, and I know Amelia will fight me on this, but if Vin Diesel could drive The Rock away and that was genuine, I'm sure he could drive just about anyone away from this franchise. I know you think it's kayfabe. She's convinced The Rock is coming back. She's convinced they're just hyping things up to get people excited. I don't know. I think that's genuine. I think Vin Diesel is going to be the problem for the Fast franchise moving forward. And if people keep leaving, it's going to be because of Vin.
I think I'm with you on the whole The Rock thing. I think that it wasn't. I mean, and if it was designed to, build tension and then get people all hyped when he comes back and use it as a marketing ploy, like I don't like that kind of shit. Like don't blur the line between reality and what we know to be true promotion for a marketing campaign. That does, in my opinion, that doesn't sit right, and I don't like it. So I'm going to choose to believe, not that I want them to hate each other either, but I'm going to choose to believe that it is authentic and it has nothing to do with a deliberate marketing campaign move.
We'll see. I mean, again, I don't know, because he did Hobbs and Shaw, so like maybe he's just doing this to like do future Hobbs and Shaw movies and be fueling that fire. But I give it to Joseph Kahn. Give it to the Torque director. Let the Torque director direct Fast X.
I will say though, Justin Lin leaving this franchise does diminish some of my enthusiasm, because I think that you can see a noticeable improvement when, you know, he stepped in and really had a firm handle on the franchise overall. And having done so many interviews for Fast 9 when it came out, and hearing that cast talk so highly about him and how much he cares about the material and all the different characters, I reposted it because I was thinking about it. I flat out during, I think it was either Ladies Night or a standalone interview, asked Jordana Brewster, because like she had just gone on like this huge spiel about how wonderful he was. I'm like, so given how highly you speak of him, is there any other person on this planet who could close out this franchise? And she said no. And I don't like not having faith in people, and there's a lot of very talented directors out there, but I still think ultimately in the end, if I'm going to make a prediction about it, I would prefer the Justin Lin conclusion to the Fast saga.
Yeah, no, I want him there. You can tell the ones that he directs versus the ones that he doesn't direct. I mean, like I thought like Fast 8 or whatever, Fate of the Furious was like one of the worst ones, and that wasn't him. And like you can tell that he just has his finger on the pulse of the Fast franchise, and him walking away is a big deal because he's done so many of these. This isn't a new director coming in and like just getting thrown into the basically meat grinder that is the Fast and Furious franchise. Like this is someone who knows the franchise, knows Vin, knows all the characters. And even he was like, I'm going to go produce from afar. I don't know.
Man, there was so much negative news today, Matt, and it made me, not that the Justin Lin stuff broke today, but I feel like there was just a lot of, you know, people exiting and shows getting canceled, and it bummed me out. I don't like that stuff on a Friday. But you know what I do like on a Friday? Super chats from Annabelle.
Go for it.
Third time's the charm, and hopefully end to the Fantastic Four redo. Have faith in it. Side note, Ian Joseph Somerhalder as any adult version of Batman's sidekick. What happened to him? I haven't heard that name in forever. What is he up to?
It's been a long time.
I'm open to seeing him in more things. Did you happen to notice any comments that were pointing us in any particular direction with CinemaCon stuff? Before we
but Songbird said Fast X is going to be an XXS crossover. Now on it. Just unite the worlds. Vin playing two people in the same movie. Fuck it.
I mean, Vin Diesel playing multiple roles in the same film. I believe it's going to happen. Not specifically in this case, but it sounds like something he would do and probably love doing.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think two notes. Somebody just said like, Hollywood is a busy place. People drop projects for personal reasons. It is unfortunate because I like Justin Lin, but it's not fair to just blame it. Like, I get it. Like, I'm not only blaming Vin on that. Like, I do want to be very obviously Justin has his own reasons. Justin can do whatever he wants, and like he has lots of projects going on too. So maybe it was that, but I can't fathom a world in which Justin Lin, who has done so many of these films, knows the franchise, just all that stuff I just said, and he doesn't have a good reason to leave. Like, and that's coming from internal. I like, that's just all the data is there. And again, if I'm going to believe that Vin was kind of the reason there was tension between him and The Rock, and The Rock went away, that video on Instagram kind of showed some things too as well. That again, Justin Lin didn't look super stoked to be in that video that Vin posted. I can only go with what we see. I hope something comes out and it's just a different reason, but.
Yep. All right. CinemaCon. I'm so happy CinemaCon is over. It was just so much.
Did you want to talk about Jurassic World before we get to CinemaCon, or what?
Oh,
I'm just
because
we can do that and then finish with all the CinemaCon stuff.
Do you have any big takeaways from the new trailer? I thought it was great.
It was great. It shows, like, I mean, it was going to be one thing we talked about, so I figured get out of the way now. But like, it just shows us more, and I like it showing it in the way that like we definitely know that the mission is revolved around getting Baby Blue back, and it just gives it more of like the real, the merciless business side of it versus the environmental side of it, and you know, it's just the protection of natural life and the fact that these dinosaurs can kill us, but we can work together and life will find a way, all these things. There were just little notes in the trailer that weren't existing in the other ones that really brought all that together. And like, it gave the characters more a reason to interact. It gave everyone more of a reason to like be together versus just, hey, here's that team up we know you all want to see.
Yeah. I forget what the exact line was in the trailer, but it was something to the effect of like, you know, like it's now or never and we need to do something. And whatever wording they used and whoever delivered it, it was delivered with such conviction that even in the form of a 2-minute trailer, I believed it. And if they can have that kind of, drive and urgency behind the mission to bring all of these characters together, I have a lot of faith that they'll be able to handle all of those key characters together in one movie. And that's what I really want to say. Burning question for you, Matt. Are either of those ankylosauruses bumpy?
We've talked about if there's going to be a crossover. I don't think so. I don't think
they're going to do it.
You think they're going to give us Bumpy?
I think they're going to do it. I don't think
if they do. I hope that would be a very cool crossover if they do it. But
I don't think it's going to be anything, like super heavy where all of a sudden the kids are there in live action form and they're a part of the I don't think they're going to do that. But I think there's going to be like, maybe it is Bumpy and that's how they do it. I think that's a very real possibility. Or they do some very clear and intentional call outs to things from Camp Cretaceous. But I do think Colin Trevorrow knows that show has a very passionate fan base and that passionate fan base thinks Camp Cretaceous should, have a bigger place in the Jurassic franchise. And I think he's going to honor it. I really believe that.
Also, the Doctor Wu moment, just a nice little thing seeing it in that trailer. Also, we had the chaos scene of them zipping through the city and the raptors like chasing them, and it looks like a car chase, almost like a Bond chase, but with dinosaurs. And then you get the one shot of the guy on the scooter getting eaten.
Yes.
And like it's getting to a little bit of the territory where like, all right, what's going on here? Like, why do we just have a guy on a scooter just going between carnivores trying to go around them? Like,
I mean, wouldn't you? No.
No, I would probably try to go the long way around.
No, you would be running around with the cocktail in your hand.
No, exactly. I'm the Margaritaville guy, just like running around. Like, what do I do? There's a Margaritaville here too. I don't know. But no, anyway, like we can do that. Yeah.
Mike Joyce is here. Thanks for the super chat, my friend. Based on the newest trailer, I think Jurassic World 3 looks like the rise of Skywalker of the Jurassic franchise. No, I'm choosing to disagree with you with no evidence right now, Mike. I think the trailers are good. There's my evidence, but
I can see where
trailers
this is
aren't
coming
always
from,
a good
though.
indication.
Yeah, exactly. Trailers are not always a good indication. I can see where the hesitation will come from in the sense that there are some of those moments that look like, hey, we got everyone together. We're just going to have fun with everyone being together and you're going to like it because it's nostalgia. Like, I hope I'm very wrong. I hope to be proven wrong. But like, and I am hyped for this movie too. I am a Jurassic World, Jurassic Park fan. So I'm coming in with like, not high expectations, but all the love in the world for this franchise. But if it is anywhere near what that comment just said, like I will be disappointed. There is no doubt.
I might need help.
Yeah, legitimately, I might need help.
Like, Matt, call me and make sure I'm okay after I see this movie. Annabelle's here with another one. I want to run around with a little dino in a backpack, like in the trailer. Also, would you two be open to an animated Jurassic Park movie that's canon? Any studio?
Absolutely. Yeah, like anything in the canon for me, I am totally fine with, because technically, again, like Camp Cretaceous is in the canon, and I'm having fun with that. If they wanted to go animated for like an off series somehow, I don't have an issue with that.
I don't know how much I want that. I think I mean, honestly, I'm kind of shocked Camp Cretaceous is as good as it is. I think if the entities involved in making that show made the feature film, then I would want it. But because it's a Universal movie, I would think that they would likely have it be an Illumination production, and I don't want that. Not that Illumination can't do something different, but they have a very clear and identifiable style, and I don't think that pairs with the Jurassic franchise that I know and love.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Again, it would have to be like a side story. Like I don't want the main continuity to go there, but if they found a way to tell a side story, it's more JP content or JW content, whatever you want to call it.
Both. Hey Sam, how you doing? Can't make it today, unfortunately, gotta work, but wanted to drop in and give my support. Have a great show. It's very greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Go home, Sam.
It is an easy day at work.
Actually, go to work, Sam.
Yeah, go to work.
Go to work, Sam.
All right. How about I have I have a whole, actually, I know what I want to talk about. How about this? We'll pass it back and forth. So I have one thing that I'm very excited about. I don't really know how
Okay.
much I have to say about this yet because I still haven't read the book, but I'm really excited that they finally dated the next Hunger Games movie. And
Saw that.
I think they gave it a good date too. It's November 17th, 2023, and that's what the releases for those movies moved to after the first one, and it's a very profitable move for the franchise there. I have not read the prequel book, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but I feel like I haven't really thought about this movie in such a long time, but now that I'm reminded of it, I have more urgency to actually go and listen to that audiobook. But without having read the source material yet, I do think this idea has great potential. Do you know what it's about, Matt?
No, I am so far removed from that franchise of books and movies at this point that I'm kind of like lukewarm on the idea. So I'll let you be the one that is.
Someone yell at me if I explain this wrong, but it's supposed to be about a young President Snow. I think he's 18 at the time, and it revolves around the 10th Hunger Games. And Snow is living in the capital, and he's called in to be the mentor to the District 12 tribute. So, in Hunger Games rules, the mentor is usually a winner from that district from a previous game,
Right.
but I guess 10 in, odds are 12, which doesn't have much training and much resources, likely doesn't have a champion yet. I'm sure they've said when the first champion was, but I don't remember. But anyway, I guess they usher in people from the capital to help when there is no one to serve as mentor. So I'm very curious to see how that story plays out, and I'm excited that Francis Lawrence is back to direct that. I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean,
what the casting is. Can't wait to hear about the casting.
Yeah, so I mean, he knows the franchise at least, and I think he directed the ones I was kind of a little higher on anyway. So like, he brought me into it a little bit, but well, no, he did the last two, right?
He did the last three.
The last three, okay, that is fair. The original probably still is one of the best. So I just don't have a huge affinity for that franchise. So for me, like, take mine with a grain of salt. Like, I like it, I had my fun with it, but it's not something I'm clamoring to see rebooted again.
I love it so much. The first film was directed by Gary Ross, and
Right.
I think that I still think that first movie is my favorite. And while I understand the complaints about the shaky cam in the movie, I'm of the mind that it was necessary because of the chaotic nature of the games and the fact that you had such young players who, I mean, can you imagine the games start and just like your brain probably turns to mush and like you don't know which way to go to avoid someone with a wet, like, I don't know, it suited the moments he used it in, for me at least.
Yeah, I just look at things like Battle Royale though, and they didn't have to rely on shaky cam, and that was children also put in a violent scenario where they had to fight each other, and like or look at The Hunt, that is the same kind of like everyone's scrambling to find weapons, and like I understand what you're saying completely.
It's not a reliance though; it's just a style choice, and I think it's an appropriate style choice. But like you don't.
But it's gonna work for you. Yeah, you don't need it. And it's gonna work for you. Or it's not. Like that's the thing. A style choice like that, it's like found footage. Like found footage turns people off in a heartbeat because it's like, I adore Cloverfield with all my heart, but I know I'll show it to some people who will just be like, why it's shaky cam? Like there's nothing to see there. And I can't argue that because it is shaky cam. Like Cloverfield is a lot of shaky camera, but to me, it at least fits that scenario.
Whenever that movie is on, I lose whatever I have planned. I can't turn Cloverfield off. We were like around the house the other day, or I think we were eating dinner and it was on, and like I could not peel myself away from that TV. It's so good. I love Cloverfield.
I adore it. I was talking about Cloverfield the other day with somebody, and it's just the same love over and over again. But yeah, so like for me, cool. You're rebooting a franchise that a bunch of people love. I'm glad they're happy about it. That's it. Those are my thoughts.
All right, we got super chats from the Jughead. Hi, Perri and Matt. It's a shame that the MCU has lost Jon Watts. I will never forget the reaction in my cinema when Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire showed up. The cinema exploded in joy. Thank you, Jon Watts. Love and respect from the UK, guys. I feel you. Jughead. I'm sad, but if it's what Jon Watts wants, that's hard to say. I want him to do what he wants to do. It's Friday.
Watt gets what Watt wants.
Yeah.
There you go.
John,
I got it.
Jon Watts and James Wan get what they want. I think I added too many words, made it too
Yeah,
easy.
no, just
You saw what I was
bail
going
now.
for, though.
Bail now.
All
But if
right,
you're talking about James Wan,
oh fuck yeah!
that's my pick. There you go. That's
I didn't even do that transition on purpose. All right, let's see if I have.
I mean, the
one.
news is we're getting the Nun 2. The
Yeah.
news is so here is my high and my low with the news. My high is that we're getting a Nun 2. For everyone saying why are we getting a Nun 2, I think it's the highest grossing of all of the Wandaverse movies. I'm almost positive.
Maybe.
I know that doesn't make it good.
I like the Nun.
But I'm saying everyone's saying why the Nun of all the things.
I don't know if that's true. Keep talking while I look that up.
It is highly successful in a way that no one expects, and it is one that I enjoy a good deal. I know it kind of went like the more B movie route. It did like Hammer horror. It's doing things in castles that the other films aren't really doing that much, and it does like it gets goofier in ways that the Wandaverse movies don't. But I like that because Corin Hardy wrote like something that didn't feel like a Wandaverse movie, but at the same time, it fits in the canon. So like I want to see Universal movies doing something a little different, like what the MCU does when like something's a cosmic, something's a like neo-Western, something is doing like a heist film.
You're right.
Yeah, it is the highest, right?
Worldwide box office on The Nun is $363 million. Right behind it is The Conjuring with 317, then 310 for The Conjuring 2.
So here is my low point, though, in the news. I haven't liked any of Michael Chaves' movies yet. And Michael Chaves is the director of The Nun 2. So you have brought in the one director who hasn't really worked for me in the Wandaverse, so we'll call it. And he is now taking this movie over. So I am happy we're getting it. I'm happy that Mr. Chaves has another chance to kind of turn me around and make me a fan of his. But after Curse of La Llorona and The Conjuring 3, I am hesitant at him taking more Wandaverse movies.
I feel somewhat similar. I liked enough both of those movies, and I think in Curse of La Llorona, I saw enough of what he's capable of to make me think he's got a promising career ahead of him. And then I got even more of that in The Devil Made Me Do It, but without it being a great movie. So if that trend continues, maybe this will be it. But part of me did really like, I want him to get more opportunities, but part of me really did want him to go in the original direction and make something that is, purely his own and not, I would like to think that they would give him the opportunity to, use his creativity, but the Conjuring film franchise has a very distinct style that connects all the movies, and it's going to have to adhere to what was done by Corin Hardy in the first Nun movie. So he is kind of locked into that, and I'm eager to see him break out of that.
Yeah, I definitely. So like his impression of doing James Wan so far to me hasn't worked for me. So his impression of trying to do Corin Hardy, I think, is not a good idea at all, because like Corin Hardy's style is very different with The Hallow and The Nun. Like Corin Hardy is doing a fun-based horror that is still thrilling, but it just has such an understanding of the genre, what makes it like interesting with creatures and like mythology. And I haven't seen a lick of that from Chaves. So I am you saying that actually makes me more nervous even now.
I wanna push back on the idea of him, trying basically making movies.
Yeah, I don't think he has to do a Corin Hardy
imitating
movie.
James Wan. Yeah. I feel like imitating versus adhering to an established franchise style are two completely different things. It's not like he's, like just using Wan's style and like copying him without purpose. It's literally part of the job description there.
I mean, I would argue that it's the description for The Conjuring 3, yes, but I would argue not for Curse of La Llorona. Curse of La Llorona, you could have done your own thing, but he tried to do.
They're all connected, literally all of them.
Yeah, but you don't have to. That doesn't mean you have to do what's in the franchise. I mean, like that's the whole thing of like Corin Hardy doing The Nun differently.
But it wasn't different. Like it still had a very similar color palette and tone and style to it.
But it was way goofier. It was way more B movie. Like that movie took swings that the rest of the Wandaverse didn't, and that's why it was got like hated. It literally went off book of like the other Wandaverse movies, and that's why it got so panned by critics.
I beg to differ on some of that. I mean, I haven't rewatched it recently enough to explain precisely why, like with exact examples, but That's not why The Nun didn't work for me.
Well, I mean, it's also, yeah, there are some things going on there that are debatable, but like, yeah,
No.
no, like I very much think that you can do things that don't have to adhere to like James Wan specific. I just feel like Chaves is a James Wan light, and he's not doing anything to set himself apart. He's just trying to recreate what James Wan has done masterfully, and he doesn't really do it that well.
Just because he hasn't been given the opportunity to go beyond
He's
that
had two.
yet.
He's had two opportunities.
No,
He's had The Curse of La Llorona and The Conjuring
we're
3.
gonna have to agree to disagree on that, because I do think that those movies are very much, I mean, they are flat out connected to the Conjuring films.
Right.
And I think the whole design of that cinematic universe is for all of them to be under the same type of style. So I think he's playing into that with literally every single movie he's made thus far, including the upcoming Nun movie.
Okay. I mean, like, again, agree to disagree. You can still do things and make, like, you can make them with your own personal signatures. I guess that's what I'm getting at. Like, Gary Dauberman's, you know, or actually, like, all of the Annabelle movies have their own signatures based on the director, I think specifically, versus the fact that I don't see those signatures in Chaves. I just see him trying to do James Wan, and he's not as good at doing it, I guess, is the final thing I will say.
I was about to say, I wonder if it has a lot to do with the time period. Like it being able to stand out when it has nothing to do with the Warrens, because it's a completely different time period. But you know, then you think about Annabelle Comes Home, and I think they had a lot of clarity when they leaned into The Conjuring meets Night at the Museum, and I think that made that feel different. And the fact that it wasn't focused on the Warrens and it was the kids, it made it feel, it gave it like a little more of an adventurous spirit in addition to the horror.
Yeah, also last thing, I think Ian is also very correct. The Curse of La Llorona isn't part of the Wandaverse. After it got negative reviews and stuff like that, they said that The Curse of La Llorona is a standalone.
They have character crossover. They can't go back on that.
I know that's not how it works. I'm aware of that. But like they changed the title. Like the title was
like it doesn't matter. They still put connectivity in the movie that they can't erase.
That might be true, but like they tried to say like they weren't the same character. The priest, yes, the priest is the same. It
exists in the same universe. I don't care what they say.
They tried to argue against it. They tried to say no.
Nope, can't do that after the fact. Sorry. Yep, Travis was right. No take backsies.
No take backsies. Imagine that. Like, this movie sucks. It's out of canon. It's gone now. We don't have to worry about it.
Oh God, don't make that a thing. Oh, all right. What else we got here? What excites me that they announced?
I mean, Doctor Strange was going to be our title topic.
Oh, I completely forgot about that because we moved on to CinemaCon.
I love how you just put it out of your mind. Like, that's not a thing.
Well, because like the spoiler thing got me all sensitive, but I am very excited about all the new footage that we've seen, and very excited about the characters that they've basically confirmed are involved at this point. And also, for what it's worth, I think a lot of the footage that we're seeing right now is probably going to pop up in the earlier portions of the movie. So I'm curious to see how they wind up incorporating all this, because it's a lot.
I mean, it's a lot. It's also, you know, a multiversal movie, so we knew they were going to get into some a lotness, and I think we're not going to see a lot of certain characters that were portrayed. Like, obviously, I don't know how big a role. Well, yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how big a role.
Carter and Professor X. There you go. I said it.
There you go. See, I wanted you to be the one to cathartically say that.
Yeah,
now you said
I feel like I needed to. It did make me feel better. Thank you, Matt.
I am very excited for Captain Carter. That is a thing where watching the What If, and you know, I think like me and Amelia were kind of talking during that episode specifically, and just kind of saying, like, imagine if they actually did something fun with the Captain Carter thing outside of just a little What If throwaway. But this actually like kind of makes me think now that what they did with What If, maybe that was like a tester in some way, and the things that got the most positive reactions, like, well, yeah, obviously we have Haley Atwell, we're gonna do Captain Carter now. Like, so yeah, like I'm happy that hopefully that instigated something, or at least like other things can happen from What If now too.
I might be wrong on this because I stopped following What If stuff, but isn't season 2 of What If supposed to be heavily about her character?
I don't know. That I'm not sure of.
I don't know.
And
I never finished.
Filming could have been done.
To be honest,
yeah, filming could have been done, and like it would have not mattered anyway. But like in any case, it was just nice to see something like this is cool. I really hope we get more of this, and seeing it in a What If format, and then seeing the actual promo and being like, oh my God, we are getting more of this. Like, that was a fun moment.
Did you watch the clip with the creature? What's his name again?
Yes, like whatever the creature is, I forget the
I
name
keep
of.
wanting to say the new
Starro.
Jurassic dino, the Giga, but it's
Giga.
not that. But it's another G name. I forget his name already. But it looks good. Like stuff looks good. This is obviously a very visual effects heavy movie, and like creatively, it just seems immensely challenging to me. But what I've seen in the promos thus far look pretty damn good, and the fact that we were talking about this a little the other week, where I'm like getting a little frustrated with how much there is to sort through now and keep organized in my mind to fully understand what's going on in the MCU and all the players and all the organizations and all the capabilities and all the different timelines, like all that kind of stuff. As far as the promotional campaign goes and what I've seen from the visuals, like, I don't know, just get the feeling like they're doing that pretty well in this movie. And that's one of the main things that I'm asking for right now.
Yeah, I mean, the little thing they showed us again, like the bus sequence of Strange pulling the bus apart, saving our new character, and then dealing with the octopus thing.
Gargantos,
yeah, dealing with Gargantos with a buzzsaw of time power. Like, it's very cool. It's very Marvel. Like, everything, again, everyone's worried because of what Sam Raimi said, and Sam Raimi's quotes being like, I made a Marvel movie that Sam Raimi would make, but it's still a Marvel movie. So, like, I just did what I was told. I'm okay with that because we're still going to get Sam Raimi in there somewhere. Like, he's not saying his personality is gone from the movie. He's just saying that, like, yes, he is part of a machine and he made the movie that, like, was put in front of him. I still think we're going to get good moments of Sam Raimi coming out of it. Like, I don't believe he would just take the job and just sleepwalk through anything. That's not what he's saying. You're
going to hate me for saying this, but he's basically doing what Michael Chaves did in the Conjuring universe, isn't he?
And if it sucks, then yeah, exactly. That's the problem. That's the problem.
There's far worse. Sorry, not to derail this, but like, I still want this movie so badly.
Weren't they still, like, it got announced in a way?
It got announced and taken back like 5 times at this point. But that's the Conjuring movie I want more than anything.
I'm with you.
But I'm very excited about Doctor Strange.
Also,
we see it very, very soon now.
Next week.
Yeah. I mean, like, literally, we see it on Monday.
Yeah, holy fuck.
I'm so excited. Jesus. I'm so excited.
My review will be done hours afterwards.
Matt, I don't function well. I don't function well on little sleep, so you can guarantee I'll be wearing a baseball hat in that review because I refuse to do my hair that early in the morning.
Yeah, no, I have to come home and write that review very quickly. And then there are some other movies upcoming that have very quick turnarounds that I am also worried about.
Oh, I'm so curious.
Which we'll talk about. The last thing, though, actually is Kay Walton brings up that there's a zombie Strange in the trailers.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Like, we could be getting the zombie universe, maybe, like a multiverse maybe he goes into, which I'd fucking love. Like, give me the Marvel zombies just for, like, 5 minutes. I just want Marvel zombies for 5 minutes. That's all I ask for.
We shall see. All right, now you have to pick a CinemaCon story.
I mean... Can we talk about these fucking reactions to Top Gun?
Oh, I know.
Neither of us have seen it. Let us be completely honest. Neither of us have seen this movie, but every tweet I am seeing they're calling it a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, the best movie in 10 years. Fucking Snyder's out here saying it's an Oscar knock. Like, get the fuck out of here. I'm absolutely sorry. Like, you showed your movie early to the right crowd of fans. Of course your reaction is going to say it's the best thing that's coming out for the next 10 years. Like, this is not a critical response. This is a bunch of people excited to see the movie, seeing it before anyone. I am going into Top Gun 2 with big old expectations, like, still middling.
I'm like torn on how to address this because I still maintain that, like, I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing if I'm swayed by getting the opportunity to see a movie early. And whenever I'm lucky enough to go to a premiere, like, none of that influences my opinion. If I like a movie, I'm going to say it. And if I don't like it, I'm going to say it too. It literally doesn't matter. And there's a lot of reactions coming out of that Top Gun Maverick screening from people that I do trust, and they're all hugely positive. So I have a very good feeling that we have a very good movie right around the corner. There is a lot of very extreme positivity in the mix there, and very big predictions on how that movie is going to be received. And, that's where I kind of like take a step back and I remind myself, and admittedly I was in the minority on this one. I believe, didn't they screen Ghostbusters Afterlife at CinemaCon? And it was like hugely beloved and like popular and all this positivity. And
People said Oscars.
then I didn't like the movie. And I am in the minority on that. I know a lot of people out there really did like the movie as much as the CinemaCon crowd did, but I need to remind myself of that so I don't get my expectations too out of control on this one. But did you just say that people said Oscars for Ghostbusters Afterlife too?
Out of CinemaCon.
Are you serious?
Those are the reactions that come out of CinemaCon. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't remember that, but I trust you.
Wow. I hesitate for. It's not that it got positive reviews. It literally got blanket masterpiece reviews. And like, I'm sorry, there are some critics who use masterpiece every single time they see a movie. And when those critics are the ones going to CinemaCon, of course they are, because they're the ones that are going to get the most praise and most hype of something outside of it. And like, sorry, like that is a part of our industry. Like you are an example of someone who doesn't go in with a bias, but how many people do we know that do go in with a bias and just want to get their quote on something? And they say things like masterpiece over and over again.
I'm not going to deny the existence of folks who like their names on billboards and stuff. I will also stress the fact that these aren't full reviews of the movie yet. And
No.
the nature of a social media reaction does make it extremely challenging to fully convey what a movie has to offer. And like, I do understand when you're limited to a certain amount of characters, like a tweet coming or like one tweet. And this is another thing. I'm going to make this point too, because I get very frustrated by this. When they say that they're lifting the social media embargo on a movie and someone takes that as a cue to do like a fucking 10 tweet thread and essentially write out their review in tweet form, or like to post a video on TikTok that's like 3-4 minutes, like fuck off. Like, no,
that's a review.
And you're breaking embargo. Stop that. That's why I will literally never. I think the most amount of tweets I've ever posted for a social media reaction is probably 2. I can't think of a single time when I did 3, but I've definitely never gone above 3 if I've even done that. But I find that very frustrating. But anyway, my point being is I do understand why tweets can come across as either only positive or only negative when you're restricted to that kind of reaction, just because you don't really have the space to be able to fully convey how you feel about a movie and why, and to get into like the cracks and the nuances. You know what I mean?
Perfection. Top Gun movie is 10 out of 10. No single negative comment can be said about this.
Who wrote that?
That's a pretty direct.
I'm going to look it up after. Name drop the person.
I'm on the Collider. I actually can't load everything. I can only see the text in the tweets because it's taking so long to load. But I'm on the Collider Top Gun 2 reactions.
I'll go look at it for you, because like your video pixelated a little. I should have known that you were searching.
Yeah, sorry. I opened Collider is what I did.
Can you wait? What did you just say? No notes.
Literally not a negative. I
don't know who Tony Gonzalez is, but perfection. Top Gun movie is 10 out of 10. Not one single negative comment from this fangirl. No spoilers either. It gives you a nod to the old and looks ahead. Fucking perfect. Was that it?
One of those.
I don't know.
There's enough there. It's just it is just very much as someone who goes to festivals and is now very conscious of festival hype and how easy it can come around, and like seeing something first and getting your word out and wanting to support something. Like, that's the thing too. It can come from a very genuine place of wanting to support something and get your support out there. But you do have to understand that like everything now moving forward for Top Gun 2, like, tweets like that are going to be used in marketing. That like they're going to start saying things about the Rotten Tomatoes score if this goes on Tomatoes somehow. So like it just, I don't know. Like there has to be some kind of temper there. And I feel like this kind of egregious love just out of the gate, like it kind of hurts a movie in a way. I truly believe that.
Can I give someone here though a little love, because I really do like respect him and trust
absolutely.
his opinions. And I think this person that I'm about to name also does some of the very best social media reactions to movies, where I do tend to see layers in his tweets versus just pure positivity for the sake of, basically doing what we're talking about right now. It's Jermaine. I think Jermaine does great tweets.
Yeah,
He writes,
I agree.
full disclosure, I'm a huge Top Gun fan, but I think even if I wasn't, I would have loved Top Gun Maverick. The action is intense and gorgeous, characters and relationships rich and rewarding. Then it tugs at the heartstrings too. It's a special sequel, and I'll be its wingman anytime.
See, like, I like the way that is worded.
I see a positive tweet like that from someone that I trust. So that gives me confidence that these reactions have a good deal of truth to them, and I'm going to love the movie.
Good. I'm glad. Again, like, those are the ones I do want to read. It's just the ones that are like best movie in 10 years, going to the Oscars. Like, come the fuck on. Like,
I mean, I would love to live in a world where Top Gun Maverick, a sequel that many people thought was never going to happen, goes on to be a Best Picture nominee. Like, I'm not going to be like bummed if that happens at all. But
if it does, I hope it does. Like, if it is that good, I really do hope so. It's just the festivals, everything, festival hype, overhype, like, it's a part of our culture, and I would just. I hope it is what people are saying, and this is not another instance of I got to see it first.
Yeah, it's a very, very bold prediction right there. What else do we got? I think the first thing that came up when I just opened up my CinemaCon tabs is "Don't Worry, Darling" trailer raises eyebrows during Warner Brothers CinemaCon presentation. Was it the trailer itself that raised eyebrows, or the envelope that was given out that raised eyebrows?
The trailer was very well received. Everything that was on screen, everyone loved. Standing ovation. Trailer got done what it needed to get done. Unfortunately, a very shitty moment that shouldn't have been made public, and we have to remember that it is no one's decision but the person with the papers there. Everyone got very quick to say things. Let's just remember that was the person who had the papers. They decided to do that. Leave it there.
I feel like everyone here knows what happened, but I'm just going to briefly read the update that Deadline posted to their original article on Wednesday afternoon. They wrote, "Turns out that mysterious envelope handed to Olivia Wilde last night during her Don't Worry, Darling CinemaCon session wasn't a script, but custody papers from her former partner, Jason Sudeikis. While the father of Wilde's children tried to rain on her parade, she kept calm and moved on during the presentation." My God. I mean, don't we know that, like, you don't specifically pinpoint when that happens? Is that
literally it's a yeah.
I don't know. I haven't really followed the specifics after the holy shit moment. I can't believe that's really what happened.
Yep, nope, that is true. That was not something suggested by the other party, as many people are trying to make it look like. Like, that literally was, this is a thing that has to get done. It goes to the proper party in this it goes to the mediator in this scenario, and the person with the papers, and they choose. Unfortunately, that person was an asshole.
Yeah, that is a ridiculous situation there. How about we go to Timothée Chalamet? Wonka trailer surprises at CinemaCon. I mean, wasn't there some like negativity about that though? I feel like
the trailer itself.
Yeah, or like something about Timothée Chalamet as Wonka.
I didn't see anything negative in my perusing. I only saw that like people are actually very much digging. Like, he got to do a song in it too, I think, what they showed.
Yeah.
So like everyone was kind of digging his musical number, and they think he brings a lot to like who Wonka is at that time. So I'm a Chalamet fan.
The way that sorry, I've just been on Deadline for all this now, but the way that they described it is think Fantastic Beasts in regard to period, early 20th century, but so much more fun, more leg kicking, twirling, dancing, chocolate fountains, and a giraffe running through a church. The visuals plump with purples and browns. We see Willy Wonka arriving in a mid-European city and slowly rising to his candy impresario fame, the pick being an origin story. And then one of the musical numbers played was You've Never Had Chocolate Like This, sung by an array of characters. And then it just says Sally Hawkins plays his mother.
Good for her.
I know,
I'm glad Sally Hawkins is there.
And that. I feel like
I'm excited.
It was Jeff or someone who tweeted something negative. I don't know.
Like, you had me in enough on the giraffes running through buildings, but just ending it on on Sally Hawkins is like, all
Like,
right,
yeah,
cool.
I'll legit see anything that Sally Hawkins is in.
I mean, yeah, it's again, it's one of those movies that like we have Gene Wilder already with a tremendous portrayal of Willy Wonka, but like we're getting a different one from Chalamet. Like I'm okay with this happening. I don't think the other one needs to be talked about, the one in the middle there, but
I just like Timothy Chalamet, and I just like the idea of someone taking a big swing, and I like the I know there's some somewhat tragic qualities to the material, but I I like the idea of him taking a big swing and having fun. Like I feel like a lot of
yeah.
he's wonderful in a lot of movies that I've seen him in recently, but I feel like it hasn't been too recent where we've seen him in a movie where he could play a little, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, to really get a little more outrageous
Yeah.
versus just playing like some kind of indie arc that we've seen a few times over that he does a very good job doing. But like, no, this is giving him a little more to chew on
Do you have
because
any
it's a movie
feelings?
about chocolate.
Do you have any feelings on this? I did not do much research into the character.
Amelia, what do we need to know about El
Yeah.
Muerto and why this movie's not going to happen?
Why it's
Because
not
he's
going to happen?
literally only in 2 comics.
El Muerto's in 2 comics. He's literally like such
Oh.
an ancillary character. The first thing Amelia said when she read the thing is like, cool, that's going to get canceled.
I should have done my homework. It would have been a really little amount of homework to do.
Yeah, and especially like us again, like Sony just picking these weird ass fucking ways to get their universe started. Like this is a movie that should be like phase 3, probably phase
Oh.
4, where you can have your fun with like. Am I correct in saying it's a luchador type character?
It is a luchador type character, but they're not trying to create a universe. They're just making sure they maintain rights.
There you go. So like, yeah, if they were doing things correctly, like this is a thing that is literally like way into a future of a universe and after you've been established, but I don't see this going anywhere. Bad Bunny fandom, that is correct. That there is a huge fandom out there for it.
What else we got? As we wind down here, I'll blow through a bunch.
David Harbour as Violent Santa.
Oh my god! I love the sound of that. What is that movie called again? Do you have that handy?
Oh god, it was someone just mentioned it.
Oh,
Crap.
that definitely caught my
I'm like
eye.
blanking on it now. Violent Night.
Oh,
Violent
Violent Night. Yeah, sign me up for that in a heartbeat. I like that. I am also extremely excited about the Margot Robbie Barbie movie.
That's not using Aqua's Barbie Girl.
I know.
What are we doing here?
I quite
Why
like
is that not
song.
the opening credits as she's driving down LA and blasting Barbie Girl? Like, what are we doing here?
I'm sorry, but to anyone who is a Barbie movie naysayer right now, it stars Margot Robbie. It's directed by Greta Gerwig. It also stars John Cena, Will Forte, like the cat, Will Ferrell, Simu Liu, America Ferrera, Kate McKinnon, Michael Cera, like my God. Like
No,
there's a reason all these mighty talented people are jumping on board a Barbie movie, and I like cannot wait to see why Greta Gerwig felt the need to make this movie, because I feel like she wouldn't make it without real purpose, and I want to see. And it's especially as a kid, a young girl who did not grow up playing with Barbies. I played with every other fucking toy on the planet. Like I like my Ninja Turtles and my Legos, and like it's an interesting scenario when everyone around you is prioritizing Barbie dolls and you just have flat out no interest in it. So personally, that angle of it, like I'm curious to see if that is addressed at all here and how that kind of gets me into it.
I am sure that especially with Greta Gerwig doing this kind of film, there will be a little bit of commentary on that in a way. I very much think we're not going to get just the base value stereotypical film that some might presume this will be. I joke about Aqua's Barbie Girl not being used in What Are We Doing Here? Like, I think it will be a very fun movie. I very much am into the idea, but yeah, what you're saying, I think that'll absolutely be addressed.
Just because I didn't say his name. No, not John Cena. I missed Ryan Gosling. He's playing Ken.
There you go.
I think it's great casting. I love it.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to bring up?
From CinemaCon? Not really.
Was there anything else from outside of CinemaCon?
I don't know. What did we miss? Somebody tell us what we missed if we missed
Yeah,
anything
really.
huge.
You guys got a couple more minutes. Tell us what we missed.
I mean, I think like we hit most of the major topics from CinemaCon. Like that was pretty much.
We did get a lot. Oh, Avatar 2.
Avatar 2. That's right.
Batman too.
Oh, the Batman 2.
Batman 2 felt inevitable.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe I wasn't that. Oh, and Halloween Ends, that trailer. They.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
So that did get decent reactions.
I feel like this is gonna make me sound like such a little Grinch about it, but it's hard to talk about that, like all this stuff when we weren't there, like seeing it and feeling the enthusiasm and the energy in the room. But like apparently the Halloween Ends trailer did play well, and as someone who did not like kills, I'm trying to remain hopeful that they'll still be able to close out the franchise strong. I mean, the 2018 movie was one of my favorite movies of 2018. I desperately need to have faith that they can fix this before it ends.
Yeah. No, I think they will. I mean, I hope. I guess it's more hope, not think, that they get it on the right track. And I'm someone who like defends Kills to a degree. I still don't think it's a great movie. I think it's fine as a slasher. Like that's it. I understand there's some problems in there. There are also so Salem's Lot, and also
what did they reveal from? What did they do? A Salem's Lot trailer?
They did a full trailer. Salem's Lot, CinemaCon.
I think they might have. I think whatever they showed from Salem's Lot got
three key moments.
Oh, so they showed scenes?
Yeah, they showed 3 specific moments from the film.
Oh.
And everyone's saying that it looks pretty scary is the word people keep using. It's a lot more straightforward horror.
Okay. I mean, scary is an appropriate word to be using there.
So if anyone doesn't mind, I'll just read like a quick little blurb. It's not that much, it looks like, but the first footage of the creature stalking Salem's Lot is impressive. We see a vampire on fire, a vampire facing down a priest, and a vampire hidden in the dark hidden in a dark closet-like space, inches from Matt and the aforementioned kid. The most incredible sequence, though, shows the sudden frightening appearance of tons of vampires via tricky pan shot. The camera focuses on a man running down the street alone. Then the camera quickly pans away as someone calls his name. When it pans back, the street is suddenly swarming with vampires. It's a great classic feeling horror movie scare. So
I hate trailer. Your reading was lovely, Matt. I hate trailer descriptions.
Yeah, like I mean, like that's what it is. Like they showed some vampire moments, but it is encouraging, I guess, to see that the vampires look good because that's a huge thing in something like Salem's Lot. We got to know that. Also, people keep bringing up the new trailer for Black Phone, and I will once again just say, like everyone's saying, it looks very good. It is very good. I saw it at Beyond Fest, and especially for that one. The trailers are so good for it, but I kind of do agree with Amelia. Like the trailers give away a few moments that I wish they didn't. So if you haven't seen them already, I do really suggest going into Black Phone without watching the trailers. It is goddamn good. It's going to be one of my favorite horror movies of the year. And I will have a full review out after Overlook, where it is closing, and I will be at. So I'll be at Overlook. I'll have a full review finally out there. And go just be hyped for Black Phone. It's the best. Like I saw it. Like this isn't me saying like it looks good on the trailer. No, Black Phone's it's fucking good. Ethan Hawke is a great villain. A lot of good moments in there. Boom.
I'm pumped for that one. All right. Close this out. I'm on the East Coast. That means
you're on the. So you got dinner time.
I gotta have dinner with the family while I'm here.
You got dinner time.
Please plug something before we sign off.
At Donato Bomb, Twitter, Letterboxd, Instagram, and you'll see everything. What did I do recently? I wrote about remakes on Bloody Disgusting. I did my Fly analysis, and I finally watched The Fly for the first time. Realized I'd seen the original one, and I didn't even know it because I saw like the final sequence. I'm like, I remember this. So for some reason, I saw the original. I didn't. In any case, I will keep writing. I will keep doing things, and I'll be at Overlook next month. Technically, I guess like it's the first week of June. So hopefully there will be some cool horror things coming out of there. Opening night is Swallowed by Carter Smith, I believe his name, the director of Midnight Kiss.
Yep. Before we leave you, I will throw out the Imogen Poots Ladies Night. She was wonderful. She gave a lot of insight into what it is like evolving as a creator in this industry, and I really enjoyed my chat with her. So go check that out on the Collider Extras YouTube channel. And that is it. I got nothing else. We're out of here. Everybody have a good weekend. We'll see you next Friday with another Merri Hour.